Hello all pipers, preppers, thrill seekers, philosophers, people who come to my channel seeking spiritual guidance. Welcome to the Gribbly's Folly Sunday Antisocial Hour, where I respond to all of your questions and comments and critiques with my witty humor and a healthy dose of, what's that word that means I really hate people? So I'm actually recording this on Friday night because I'm going to go fishing early in the morning, the next 2 mornings, and won't have time to record a video. Mostly I get my hashtag AskGribbs questions early in the week after the last video, so I'm not expecting to get any between now and Sunday morning. But if I do, rest assured they'll be answered next week. And I think there's one I'm going to have to put off till next week anyway because I was remiss. And yes, hashtag Ask Gribbs to ask the Bible Thumper. I just sent the Bible Thumper the message and haven't gotten a response yet. So we'll save that one for next week. Who was it? Who was it that asked me that? Whoever it was. But I'm so bad at this thing. This is why, you know, I try, because Bradley at Stuff and Things is like a huge pipe presenter. I really try not to copy his Sunday morning smoke, right? And, but I noticed that he set up like a whole Twitter account basically just to get the questions that he answers on his Sunday morning smoke, because YouTube sucks, y'all, for comments. YouTube is good for videos. Apparently, if you're of a certain stature in the YouTube land, in YouTube world, you can make money and all that. Not for anybody like us, the pipe folks, we don't make money. But the comments thing, it's just unbelievable how bad it is, and people leave me comments and I can see them on my phone, but I can't see them on my computer or vice versa. Anyway, let's get to it. I'm smoking my Missouri Meerschaum Not So Stubby. I've really been enjoying this pipe lately since I added the traditional Legend bit / stem to it, whichever one you want to call it. This fits me a lot better than the stubby stem. And in it, I am smoking Peterson's University Flake from June of 2016. So this has almost 2 years of age on it. And let me tell you, what a difference 2 years makes. Virginias really get better with age. And I don't have a lot of patience. So I rarely let them age this much, but I think I'm going to start stocking a few Virginias and just letting them age a couple of years, because this is fabulous. Whereas before it was like, okay. I mean, actually, I don't have a lot of it because I've been giving away samples of it. Just as like if I send somebody something that they haven't tried a lot of Virginias, here, try this. It's okay. I don't like it, but keep this around. A30-06, like that name asks. Hashtag AskGribbs. I see many pipe videos where they start like this. I'm smoking my 7 LA Friday. Well, I think I just kind of started a video like that. But anyway, I own 3 pipes, a Graybow Duke, a Medico nose warmer, and a full bend of unknown manufacturer, which is my favorite. All of which I have owned for about 30 years. Other than cost, what is the big difference between a $20 pipe, but not from China, and a $200 pipe? Because mine seem to work just fine. I get a lot of people saying, Dr. Graybow, did you just start smoking a pipe 3 months ago? Well, at 30-06, this is a very complex question. But I can tell you that for sure, the only difference that you can really nail down between a $20 pipe and a $200 pipe is $180. You can go back and look at my pipe tour from, it was several weeks ago now, and all the pipes that you will see on my pipe rack, which was a repurposed slide tray from like the 40s. All those pipes, I think the most expensive one I ever bought myself was $110, which was my Stanwell Admiral. And I think I think the Mastro de Paja that I have is probably worth more than that, or would have been if I bought it straight up, but I got it in a trade. What I have found, so I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't have the expertise to say, well, I've smoked a bunch of $1,000 whatever pipes and a bunch of $4,500 custom pipes, and so I can really tell you, I can't tell you about that. I don't know. Maybe there is a difference. I will never know because I'm never going to spend that much money on a pipe. In fact, the pipes that I smoke most often and like the most are corncob pipes that I get for mostly under 20 bucks. Actually, most of them under $10. I think that when it comes to smoking characteristics, if you were to blindfold someone and put a pipe in their mouth, which would be really, that'd be weird. That would violate all kinds of personal space and stuff. But anyway, just if you were going to do that, most people, almost all people that smoke a pipe, serious pipe smokers would not be able to tell the difference. What you'd be able to tell would be the openness of the draw, right? Which doesn't really, you can't really tell much because the tobacco is going out. Hang on. Getting down to the end of this bowl. The openness of the draw. If you smoked the whole pipe, you could tell if it smoked wet, if it gurgled. And you could tell the way that it hangs in your mouth. Right? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it straight? Is it bent? Those things are what you are the sensory experience that you are getting if you rule out the touch experience of holding the pipe and the sight experience of looking at the pipe. The tobacco and the smoke and the mechanics of it, you know, I have pipes that smoke so well for under 50 bucks. I don't see how much improved they could be, you know, with an extra $500 or an extra $1,000 or an extra $3,000. I don't see how that could happen. Now, are there prettier pipes out there for $3,000? Yes. Are there, you know, rare and collectible pipes? Yes, absolutely. But in terms of smoking mechanics and smokability, I don't think so. I don't think there's a difference. However, I will say, from my years working in retail, I try never to buy the bottom rung of anything. Not that gray bowls are bottom rung. I like gray bowls. Grabo, whatever. I like those pipes, but I think that it's worth looking at the Peterson Stanwell Savinelli tier, which is like the $80 to $150 pipes. I think that there are some noticeable advantages to having a few of those pipes, if that's your thing. If you like pretty pipes, really stylish pipes, I think gray bows and Medicos, it's a fashion thing. It's honestly a fashion thing. Having said that, I've never had a Savinelli that didn't smoke well. I have a Stanwell that doesn't smoke amazingly. It smokes okay. It doesn't smoke amazingly. I've had Petersons that don't smoke well, but a Savinelli, I've never had a Savinelli that didn't smoke well. Long story short, smoke what you like. If you like what you already have, don't buy any more pipes. If you would like to treat yourself to a nicer pipe, yeah, I think you'll enjoy a pipe that's like one tier up from what you're already smoking. But I don't think you need to go to the high end. John Waxarani says, outstanding day. This was on my 8 fish in October Gulch, and on that video. One question, did you bring a compass with you? He's asking because I got off trail a little bit. That's always been my saving grace when I decide to go off trail. John, why would I have a smartphone with a compass on it? No, sir, I did not bring a compass. I know the area well enough, and I could hear the river the whole time. I would not, in those woods, I would not get far enough away from the river that I couldn't hear it. Which would be kind of hard because this is a steep valley. It would be hard to get farther away from the river than would be safe. But I don't normally carry a compass in the woods. Maybe I should. But the thing about that is, I don't have a good reason for not carrying a compass in the woods, actually. You know what I love every week? Every week I get a comment on my old video about how Prince Albert tobacco really, really sucks. And so the comment this week, and there are all these, it's never just like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. So the unspoken says, it ain't that bad, princess. I'm sorry, Snowflake, your tobacco sucks. It's how it is. I'm not the first person to say this, and I won't be the last. I don't make the rules. Prince Albert is terrible. My buddy Old Greg, on the other hand, just sent me a message off YouTube and said that he had some Prince Albert that he really enjoyed. And good for him, sewer rat might taste like pumpkin pie, but I'll never know because I'll never eat the filthy motherfucker. Which is a great segue into Pan Chuchin's question, hashtag Ask Gribbs. Wait, I just got a message from the Bible Thumper. Okay, wait, maybe we can answer that one this week. Okay, yeah. Ask Gribbs, what blend or blends, if any, would cause you to stop smoking a pipe altogether if they were the only blends available? Prince Albert. And, Amy, I'm sorry, Shandygaff. Not that Shandygaff isn't quality tobacco, but if that were the only tobacco available, I would take up vaping, or meth or something. Also, Crooner, which is another, basically tobaccos that have like weird flavorings in them that I don't enjoy. If the only tobacco to smoke was Sutliff's cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper flavored, I would probably still smoke it every now and then, but something like Shandygaff or anything with deer tongue in it. I could even handle Lakeland blends, but not Prince Albert, Shandygaff. I'm sure there's others out there that have those weird flavorings. Pipe Smoking Board Gamer says, diaries are for girls, journals are for men. That's not a question, sir. But I feel like your comment was worth reiterating. By the way, I wasn't going to talk about this. All right. Hang on. I have to consult before we talk about this. Someone in my personal life, you will know who you are, recently learned that I own a yoga mat. Which is not to say I practice yoga. But when this person learned that I own a yoga mat, he said, yoga is for women. Not that I know, but I would suggest that that person try a few days of yoga every day at 5:30 in the morning and see if they think it's still for women. I'm not saying that I feel like my abs are made of broken glass. That's not what I'm saying. I have no firsthand knowledge of this, but I think yoga is a pretty manly freaking activity. Robert Dixon, I think the notion that the pipe tobacco drying up, meaning the supply of pipe tobacco drying up, not your tobacco actually getting dry. Speaking of which, let me relight my Peterson University flake with 2 years of age on it. This is such an elite tobacco. I would never smoke any of the slummy white trash Prince, what was his name, Herbert, whatever. This, you need at least 2 years of age. Definitely has to come in a tin. And you know what? This tin, the Peterson tin, I think it's available for like $9.99 on smoking pipes. But I sent them extra money because if you pay more for tobacco, it tastes better. So Robert is asking about my practices for, I think he's asking about my practices for cellaring. Well, you've seen my cellar. It's in a Huggies diaper box. Am I worried about critters in my tobacco? Not really. Not really. I know Cornell and Deal had some mold problems. I know that there are cigar worms, but I don't smoke cigars because I'm not going to make that joke. I don't smoke cigars, so I don't worry about that. And I feel like if there are critters, they might eat the tobacco, and I'll open it and be like, oh, they ate all my tobacco, and here's like a critter in there. Yeah, that would be pretty disturbing, actually. But I'm not worried about smoking critters because they're just going to burn up, right? You think you don't already ingest some critters in your day? Man, don't look at FDA studies. All right, Metalhead Cigar Guy says, by the way, why are there Pop-Tarts with no frosting on them? I have no idea, unless it's like one of those CIA like studies, like they're trying to root out the communists by looking at who buys a box of unfrosted Pop-Tarts on a credit card or something like that. Or hell, they can probably trace the bills. Even if you spend cash, there's got to be somebody watching who buys those boxes. All right. Sick Libra. says, if your house was on fire and you could save your cellar or your pipes, which would you save? Definitely the cellar. Definitely the cellar. David A. says, please make a video about your milsurp experiences. No, David A., I will not, but I will talk about them briefly. Simply because I don't have a lot of milsurp experiences, and it would be a very short or very boring video. My milsurp experiences are, I bought a Tula-made SKS, and it sucked. and that was it. And I buy, Milsurp 7.62 by 39 if I'm going to be shooting that kind of round. I have, I've got some like decommissioned grenades. I've got maybe a machete that was Milsurp, but in general, here's my main thing about Milsurp. You walk into a military surplus store, the place should be dirty as hell. It should look like a pack of hoarders live there. And everything should be cheap, and the guy behind the counter should be 90 years old and mean. That is the military surplus experience you want to get actual military surplus goods. Oh, I do have a military surplus Navy peacoat from the Vietnam era that I like a whole lot. But that's probably not what you're asking about. We have a military surplus here in town that sells like military surplus stuff and airsoft guns. That's not military surplus. As I have said before, if I had a lot of money, I would buy a lot of military surplus rifles and ammo and that sort of thing. And recently, I've been tempted back to looking at military surplus websites for rifles and stuff. And I would say on the whole, the two actual military surplus rifles that I've had, one has functioned very well. The other was that SKS that functioned terribly. That's not a good ratio. That's not a good ratio. So if I were going to buy Milsurp stuff again, I would go for not an automatic or semi-automatic rifle. I would go for a bolt action. AIM Surplus has the Star BM 9mm 1911 copies for $169 right now. You know how hard it is for me to sit right here and not go upstairs and order one of those things? It's such a good deal. It's such a good deal, but you get one 8-round magazine. And I'm sorry, 8 rounds for a 1911 with 9mm? What? That doesn't, no, you should get at least 10, 11 rounds out of that. And the mags, even though they're surplus, are like $20 a piece. Like if I could get a 5-pack of mags for $25 or something like that, I would have done this already. It would already have been a deal. Interestingly, and the video is getting long already, but we had a car theft in our neighborhood this week, and it has made me a little anxious because it was very clearly a case where someone was casing the hood. They were walking around the neighborhood while people were warming their cars up on a cold morning and just got in one of the cars that was warming up and drove it off. And I thought, maybe I do need to think a little bit more seriously about home defense or whatever. And that is what has me looking at military surplus stuff. Which is stupid. I just need to go buy a shotgun, but that's it doesn't have, it's soulless. It's like you go to Walmart and you're like, here's my credit card, give me a shotgun, okay, I'll go home, and I wanna kill a home intruder with style, right? Like I want to freaking, I want a Mosin or like a Mauser or something. I want them to know they've been killed by someone who has an appreciation for the history and art of warfare. Boom! No, dude, don't die yet. Oh, hang on, check out this awesome, isn't the action smooth on this thing? Devil's Advocate asks, ever serve on a jury? Yes. No. I was selected for jury duty, but it was not selected for the final jury. If yes, how did the experience compare with courtrooms portrayed in films and on TV? Well, I've never served on a jury. However, I have worked in media, and I have covered a lot of courtroom drama. To answer your question directly, my jury duty experience was, it was right after I left my job in media, and I wanted to never, ever, ever set foot in a government meeting ever again. I was like, oh, cool, what's this in the mail? Jury duty. So I go in, right, and we were supposed to get there at 8 in the morning. They had us sit in this giant room playing network cable news for 2 hours. For 2 hours. That was the most television I had watched in years and years and years. And so then they move us all into the courtroom, right? And they pick, I mean, there was like 75 people. And they picked, 20 at random. I wasn't one of the ones they picked. And then they sat up there, and it was a sexual assault trial, actually. And they sat up there, and they're like, so what are your feelings on sexual assault? Like somebody's going to be like, oh, I think it's pretty awesome. No, like they were like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? And there were people that were like, I don't believe in laws. I don't believe in the government. A lawyer killed my dad. Like they were, people saying stuff like that, and they were like, you're in. Like, wow, okay. Like, what do I got to say to get out of this thing? But to answer the spirit of the question, my experience in court has been that it actually, I mean, it's not like it's nothing like TV. But if you were to sit in court for a week and cut it down to half an hour, it would kind of be like TV. Like, it's so slow and so boring and just mind-numbingly tedious and horrible. But there are these moments in there that are dramatic and that are, I covered some pretty heinous trials in my day. The most notable, the one that always springs to mind is I covered the trial of a guy who anally raped his 3-month-old. It's this horrible, horrible sexual abuse case. And they sent him to prison for a long time. And this was in a small town. And the sentencing was like, it must have been the next day after I can't remember the details, but I remember they found the dude guilty, and I knew where they were going to take him out of the jail to take him to Raleigh. And I was the only photographer on the scene that was like staking out the door out of the jail. And when they brought the guy out, the look on his face, I will never forget the look on his face, knowing he was going to get raped in prison for 30 years. That's a pretty dramatic thing. And people are always like, hey, Gribbly, why do you have such a dark worldview? Yeah, all right, David 35445 asks Gribbs, you're being afforded the opportunity to fish anywhere in the world for any species. Where would it be, and what would be the target fish? I have no idea. And I would like to say that it would be Montana for whatever big-ass Montana trout they have up there that everyone writes books about. But that's just, I don't really know because I have never been. I mean, I'm such a new fisherman. I've only been doing this for 18 months now. And I hear people talk about Montana and fishing out west in Utah, but I don't really have a good answer to this question. Somewhere where I feel like what I can't do here is the really long casts with a fly rod, and that's what I would like to get better at. I would like to have a place because, like, honestly, I mean, I fish Tenkara, right? But honestly, I only do that because there are very few places around here where I can't reach the other bank with my Tenkara rod. So it would be nice to be on bigger water that still has trout. I think it would definitely be some sort of trout or their family of fish. Or something really dangerous. That'd be the only other thing, like fishing for boa constrictors or something in the Amazon. Do they have boa constrictors in the Amazon? Surely they do. I've got them in Florida, right? So, yeah, why not? Okay, we got a question for the Bible Thumper, and he said he was going to get on it, but he has not gotten back to me, and my phone is about to die. The one I'm not recording on is about to die. So we're going to answer that one next week. I assume he is, at this very moment, reading the entire Bible to find the answer to this question. But wait for that next week. I plan to adventure and smoke my pipe all weekend long. My wife is taking the kiddo out of town tomorrow, which means I can woods loaf with no guilt. I mean, I try not to feel guilt anyway because I'm a sociopath. So, but I mean, this time I really won't need to feel guilt. And we might have some guest stars on the show. Who knows what's going to happen though? Who knows How the weather will treat us, who knows? But I think it's safe to say the season is upon us, and I am super excited. More to come. There's some Bothy news. It'll all be right here on YouTube, in your living room, or wherever you watch. Don't forget to hike and imbibe, and keep the ends out for the ties that bind.